Hi everybody, I'm Nicoll Hunt, or as you may know me, Who? I'm a person who makes computer games. I founded a company called I Fight Bears, which is the greatest company in the world, based out of my shed. And I'm here to help you quit your job in this intimate environment. Usually when I do this talk, I pepper it with swear words to make up for my limited vocabulary and for cheap laughs. But I'm going to tone it down because it's obviously a very family-friendly audience. You should not take any advice from me. I have no business qualifications. I've worked for 2 companies that have both gone bankrupt. I've only started one company. That one company has released one game 3 years ago, which was a game called Fist of Awesome, which was wildly overrated. I'm only really here because I thought I'd get a free ticket, and then I got here and it's free anyway. I'm frequently described as a hipster. And just because something worked for me doesn't mean it'll work for you guys, but the fact I'm on stage saying exactly those things shows how deluded I am. I am, on the other hand though, devilishly handsome. Since starting I Fight Bears, I've doubled the number of Twitter followers I have. I've not gone bankrupt yet. And I'm on stage with a microphone, and you've already sat down. Do you like your job? I'm assuming some of you find people are employed in some regard. Do you feel satisfied in that employment? Do you regularly learn new skills? Are you appreciated in your role? Do you earn enough cold, hard cash to be comfortable now and in the future? The answer to my hypothetical question is no. And the answer is because jobs are for jerks. Jobs are for people who follow the rules. Jobs are for cogs in the machine. Frick the rules. You're not a cog. You're a force of nature. Quit your job. Do it now. Send an email to your boss. Go back to the office and take a poop on their desk. Flip over a table and walk out with your fist in the air. Are you rich? Take your hand back down. Beg for your job back. Claim temporary insanity due to a devilishly handsome Scotsman. And make quitting your job your long-term goal. And for now, just flip off your boss behind his back. Start a business. It's a web form and it's £15. Give it a strong, powerful name that resonates your values. Clearly, I Fight Bears is the best company name of all time, but try your best. Start as you mean to go on. Accompany what you build into it and give it a strong direction from the outset. I'm the sole founder of I Fight Bears, and if you have the drive to go it alone, I totally recommend it. However, having a partner in crime helps spread the workload. And bouncing ideas off someone else can help produce more than the sum of your parts. Be aware though, the more people you have, the higher the chance that one of you is going to be a jerk. And if you don't know who the jerk is, it's probably you. So make sure you have something legal in place for when the relationships inevitably fall apart. Learn how to do everything yourself before you pay someone to do it for you. It makes it much harder for people in the future to fool you. Learning finance, legal stuff, marketing, it's all practical, useful skills. And only by learning the existing rules can you hope to subvert them in the future. Before I started a company, all of my knowledge of business came from Dragon's Den. I thought it was all about memorizing profit and loss numbers and predicting exactly how much money you'll make in the next 5 years. I didn't know how much money I'm going to make next month. Starting a computer games company is a notoriously unreliable way to make money. Unless you're making a sequel to an established franchise, sales estimates are pure fantasy. Start with what you can achieve with your current resources and go from there. Being quick to adapt is so much more important than fairyland business plans. If everyone else is saying something and doing something, it's already too late for you to join in. Listening to most talks at conferences just lets you know what worked a year ago. Learn from other people's mistakes, but don't blindly mimic their successes. Just because something is the way it's done doesn't mean it's right for you. Bend rules, break conventions, shatter expectations. Don't look for gaps in the market. Don't look for what's hot now. Make your own parade. Make your own market. Grand Theft Auto, Minecraft, Undertale, these are all games. They're all examples of creating demand for something that people didn't realize that they wanted. You don't start a company, you start a movement. Have a mission, pursue it with everything you have, and bring everyone else along for the ride. If you're going to dedicate yourself to something, make it something you love. And if all you love is money, this talk is not for you and we cannot be friends. Maybe you love light gun games. Start a movement to bring back light gun games. Create the greatest light gun game of all time. 3D print your own light guns. Make an arcade machine and bring it to expos. Make it your goal to introduce light gun games to people who have never played light gun games before. Start a light gun tournament in your local pub. Stream it live on the internet. Get corporate sponsorship. Move to a bigger venue. Make it an arena. Start a convention around the tournament. Call it LightCon. You get the idea. I really like light gun games. I wish people would make more of them. Start small and aim high. Leave a little bit of your character in everything you do. Help people care as much about you as what you're doing. Running your own business is hard. It's boring, and it's frustrating, and it's hard. The payoff, even if it comes, can be years in the making. There will be money problems, there will be sleepless nights, there will be existential crises. There'll be times when it all seems like a joke that spiraled out of control. And now you have a company called I Fight Bears, and your wife is pregnant, and you've quit your job, and you don't know if you'll be able to pay the mortgage next month, and you and your wife and your unborn child will be living in someone's basement, eating cold beans and burning lint for heat. If nobody hates you, you're doing it all wrong. The only thing worse than being slated is being faced with a wall of silent indifference. Every single successful person and company in the world has a tiny portion of the internet dedicated to telling them how bad they are and how they're doing everything wrong. Don't listen to that part of the internet. When you start, no one will give a flying frick about what you're doing. Until you prove yourself, you're just another of tens of thousands of idiot startups. You'll send out carefully crafted demos into the void and hear nothing back. When I first started talking about Fist of Awesome, the worldwide smash hit, I was met with total indifference. I took it to mean I needed to raise my game, be more focused, and produce work that stands out and has a unique voice, and put more bear puns in the game. Be so awesome that nobody can ignore you. And don't work yourself to the bone. Burning out will do neither you nor your new company any good. Exercise, even though it's awful and hard and makes my legs burn, helps you focus and stay healthy. Take time off, hang out with friends and family, get a good night's sleep. Crunch is nonsense. It's short-term gains for long-term damage. Focus on the long game and keep yourself in top shape, mentally and physically. Get the best tools for the job. For game development, that's furniture, that's computers, that's development software. If there's a way to get a cheap ticket or free ticket for a conference, take it. If that involves doing talks or giving demos or running workshops, do that. It will save you money, it will raise your profile, helps you meet more interesting people. And it makes you seem really self-important as well when you're on stage with a microphone. If you get a chance to show your work somewhere, take it, no matter how small, even if it's in Norwich. Any opportunity to meet awesome people and get feedback is an opportunity to be seized. Do interviews when asked. You don't know where that girl called Laura's tiny blog is going to be in 3 years' time. Maybe she'll be UK editor of Destructoid. Who knows? Seek out like-minded punks and feed off each other's energy. Random things that you say yes to can sometimes lead to more and more things that are better. When I made Fist of Awesome, I got an email from a Japanese company saying, would you like to release the game in Japan? And you get a lot of these kind of emails when you release games, like offering you to release games in places you've never heard of. And I said yes to one of these ones to Japan. And I had to make a special version of the game just for Japan. And that has led to the game being released on Miniclip yesterday. And over the course of maybe 4 to 6 weeks' work, I've made £17,000 as a result of saying yes to one email. So sometimes it's really, really worth saying yes. And recklessly skimming over how to fund your company. That's a whole different conference in itself. Contract work can be a great way of getting funds for your fledgling company, and it certainly helped keep I Fight Bears afloat. However, the amount of money you can make from a contract is fixed, whereas the amount of money you can make from your own IP is technically limitless. Only do contract work that pays you well, is work you enjoy doing, and most importantly, is work you can confidently finish on time. There's nothing worse than having to take a loss at doing work that you don't care about. Swapping a jerk boss for a jerk client is a waste of your time and achieves nothing. The only bit of advice that I implore you to take away and retain from this talk is that Arnold Schwarzenegger autobiography is genuinely amazing. his self-belief, his overachievement in the face of reason and logic. His mindset is fascinating. When he first started acting, all of the parts he were offered were what you would imagine a huge, muscly Austrian man would be offered. Bodyguards, meatheads, always tiny little bit characters. Eventually, he declared, "I am leading man," and refused to accept any other option. His agent despaired. This was clearly madness. He had a weird accent. He was huge. He could barely act and he could barely speak English. But he was adamant. And it all paid off when he got the role as Conan the Barbarian. Suddenly, Arnold Schwarzenegger was the only choice as a leading action man in Hollywood. His determination in the face of the accepted norm and all common sense was utterly vindicated. So stick to your guns. Don't discount yourself. Whether in regards to contracting or your own work, don't accept short-term gain for long-term damage. Avoid bundles or regularly heavily discounted sales. What can seem like easy money cheapens your work and limits its long-term potential. Set your price where it represents value for your customer. If people can't afford your work, tell them to pirate it. Don't get involved in a race to the bottom. Your Twitter account is marketing. Keeping a blog is marketing. Speaking to the press is marketing. Giving talks at prestigious conferences is marketing. Make every interaction count. Wear your enthusiasm on your sleeve. Believe in yourself and believe in your projects. You don't need an external marketing company. Nobody knows your work as well as you. Nobody is as passionate about your work as you. Nobody is better placed to talk about what makes your work special as you. Raising others up is a much better way of getting people to like you than narcissistically talking about yourself on stage. If a good opportunity comes up that you can't recommend, recommend somebody who can. Be quick to offer help and advice. Be a fan of other people's work. The world's a much better place when you can appreciate the achievements of others. If your aim is to build a company just to sell at the earliest opportunity, 1, you're a jerk. And 2, you're clearly not as passionate as you claimed you were earlier on in this talk. Make a company that you love, that satisfies you creatively, that makes enough money for you to comfortably survive. That's your exit strategy. An exit from the bland, colourless world of being a faceless employee, doing work you don't care about to make someone else rich. That's what you need to exit from. Use your spare time. Stop watching TV. Stop refreshing Twitter. Think of a brilliant name for your company. Start that company. Pour your heart and soul into it. Create the best work of your career. Make something great. Live the dream. Break all the rules. Colour outside the lines. Don't use coasters on a glass table. Make a little bit of money and quit your job. Thank you. That rambling monstrosity was the end of my talk. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Yes?
Are you making as much money as you were when you were in your crap job?
Am I making as much money as I was when I was in my crap job? Since I started I Fight Bears, my annual salary has doubled. So making indie games has financially been one of the most rewarding things I've ever done. Yes.
How do I quit my job if I don't have one? Get one, then quit it.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it depends. If you want to actually start a company and you want to make your own employment, then you need to just quit the mindset of not having a job.
Right.
If that makes any sense.
Work well.
Any other questions? Cool. Well, thank you very much, everybody.